to a new session at Graduate Guru. We'll continue the topic Final Accounts of Banking Companies. In the last session, we discussed what is CAR, that is Capital Adequacy Ratio. So let us do a few sums on that. So first let us read question 16. Calculate the risk-adjusted or weighted assets. It means the same. Sometimes you can say risk-adjusted, या हम कहते हैं risk-weighted also. And also CAR, that is our Capital Adequacy Ratio for Swayam Bank Limited from the following details. So they've given us equity share capital. This will go in our Tier 1 capital. Statutory reserve also will go to Tier 1. Capital reserve, they've given us two types of capital reserves. One is on revaluation, जो जाता है हमारे Tier 2 capital में, and there also we have to claim a discount on that. And on sale of assets. Sale of assets वाला जो capital reserve है, that goes to Tier 1. Cash balance with RBI. Now they have listed some assets, और ये assets हम risk weighted assets के calculation में use करेंगे. So we have cash balance with RBI, balance with other banks, other investments. For loans and advances, we have guaranteed by government and others. Then we have premises and furniture also. And in off-balance sheet items, we have guarantees and other obligations and acceptances and letters of credit. So using this information, we have to calculate two things. One is risk-weighted assets and the other is the capital adequacy ratio. So I have made a format for the risk-weighted assets calculation. We will also be calculating the capital adequacy ratio over here, and for that we will have to calculate our capital fund, which I am going to show in this working note. So let us begin first by calculating our risk-weighted assets. इसमें हम assets की list बनाएंगे. So our first asset which they have given is cash balance with RBI. So let us write that down. And they have already given us the book values over here which we are going to use. So the amounts are given. The amounts are in lakhs. For these calculations you can use the same amount जैसे दिया है sum में हम वैसे ही use कर लेंगे. No need to change it to thousands because finally हमें वैसे भी capital adequacy ratio calculate करना है in percentage. So cash balance with RBI is 13 lakhs. So they've given 13.00. I will write it in that same manner. Then our second asset is balance with other banks. So let's write that also down. Balance with other banks. And the amount given for that is 23.40. Then we have other investments directly. There is no government investments. So we are not going to follow any format. जैसे assets का list question में है, we are same way going to just write it down in our format. Other investments is 46.80. After that, we have loans and advances guaranteed by government and others. So, वो भी लिख लेते हैं. So, let's write loans and advances. And under that, first is guaranteed by government. And the next is others. So, guaranteed by government, the amount is 21.45. और others के लिए the amount is 7377.50. Then we have premises and furniture. So let's write that also. Premises, furniture, और amounts हैं 65 for premises and 36.40 for furniture. And this is our list of assets. उसके बाद we have off balance sheet items. So we'll not merge it up with this. So यहाँ पर जो भी हम calculation करेंगे, we'll take a subtotal over here. और उसके बाद हम लिखेंगे off balance sheet items. And there we have two things. So first is guarantees and other obligations. And the next is acceptances and letters of credit. Now the amounts for these are 1040 and 6240. Now we have our complete list. So now we have to decide what are the weights which we will take. We had discussed in the last session कौन से assets ज़्यादा risky होते हैं, कौन से less risky होते हैं. So the first one, cash balance with RBI is the least risky. So this is 0%. Balance with other banks में थोड़ा risk होता है, as I explained to you last time also. So this will be 20%. Other investments which are not backed by the government, यहाँ पर full risk है, so we'll take it as 100%. Loans and advances जो government guaranteed है, there is zero risk because government is guaranteeing its payment. So 0% for that. पर other advances and loans में, of course there is a full risk. So 100% on that. Premises, furniture और कोई भी asset हो, it is 100%. And even for our off balance sheet items, we will have a 100% risk. So this calculation is very simple. When I multiply, anything multiplied by 0 becomes 0. So पहला amount 0 हो जाएगा, 0%. This 20% we'll calculate. So that will be 23.40 into 20%, which is 4.68. And जो 100% है, that remains the same. Into 100% means into 100 upon 100. So the amount will be same. So this is 46.80. Again 0% जो भी है वो 0 हो जाएगा. And then this is again 100%. So when we multiply, we get the same number. 7377.50. Again 65 into 100% will be 65. And 36.40 into 100 will be 36.40. So let us take a subtotal first. उसके बाद we will add the off balance sheet items. So 4.68 plus 46.8 plus 7377.5 plus 65 plus 36.4, we get 7530.38. And off balance sheet items के लिए भी it is 100%, so the amounts will remain the same, 1040 and 6240. And now let's take the grand total for all these items together, that is 7530 mein we will add these two, 1040 and 6240. We get 14810.38. This is our denominator for our ratio. So हमने first part कर लिया है where we calculated the risk weighted assets. अब हम इसे इस फॉर्मूला में डालेंगे where our numerator is total capital fund. तो वो हमें अभी पता नहीं है. I'll leave that blank. But in my denominator, I'll write down this number which we've got, 14810.38. and into 100. When we get our amount for capital, we will put it in the numerator. Now we have to calculate our total capital fund. Uske liye I have made this working note over here. This is just inner column and outer column. So yahan par first we will take tier 1 capital. Let's see what we have in our sum jo hum tier 1 mein dalenge. First is equity share capital. Equity share capital is given as 650 lakhs, which I'll write down as it is. After that, we also have statutory reserve. That is also a part of our tier 1. So let's write that also, statutory reserve. And statutory reserve is 351. And then हमारे पास 2 types of capital reserve है. One is on revaluation, one is on sale of assets. So tier 1 में कौन सा capital reserve जाएगा? The one which is on sale of assets. So capital reserve, and in brackets specify on sale of assets. So sale of assets के capital reserve का amount है 80.60. So this is it for tier 1. बाकी के जो amounts है that is for tier 2. So let us take a total first for tier 1. 650 plus 351 plus 80.6. We get 1081.60. This is tier 1. We will leave it as it is. I'll write down over here tier 1 capital. Then we go to tier 2 capital. And is sum में tier 2 capital में we just have one thing, which is our capital reserve on revaluation. So let's write that. Revaluation. But इस capital reserve में हमें discount subtract करना होता है. So let us write the amount first in the inner column, 20.80. And if you remember the format that I showed you, there you have to subtract your 55% discount. So let us calculate 55% of 20.80. 11.44 is the discount. और वो minus करने के बाद we will get our tier 2 capital. So when we subtract that from 20.8, we get 9.36, and this is our tier 2 capital. And for our total capital, we have to add these two. So 1081.6 plus 9.36, we get 1090.96. This is our total capital fund जो हम यहाँ पर लेकर जाएंगे. $1090.96. Now we just have to divide this and get our answer. So 1090.96 divide by 14810.38 into 100. We get 7.37%. Don't forget to write your percentage sign. So this is our final answer for the capital adequacy ratio. Now we had discussed that the requirement as of now is 9%. यहाँ पर वो requirement meet नहीं हो रही है. So you can just write a note saying that the bank is not meeting the required percentage of 9%. But it's not asked in the sum. हमें सब में ये नहीं पूछा है कि is it coming within the limits or not. Okay, they've just asked us to calculate और हमने calculate कर लिया है. So take down all of this, then we'll do another similar sum. So let us go to question 17 now. Calculate for Yazoo Bank Limited Tier 1 and Tier 2 capital, risk adjusted assets and capital adequacy ratio. That is the same thing that we just did. So they've given us some details: paid up equity share capital, cumulative perpetual preference capital. So this is cumulative, it will go in Tier 2. Statutory reserve is given. Securities premium reserve is also given. Capital reserve is given on revaluation and on sale of assets. Investment fluctuation reserve is given. Now in investment fluctuation reserve, it goes to Tier 2, but there is a restriction. So we'll have to be careful about that. Cash, balance with RBI. Now this is the list of assets. Other investments, loans guaranteed by government, other loans and advances, premises, furniture and fixtures. Intangible assets are given, which has to be subtracted. Endorsements and letters of credit, these are off balance sheet items. And deferred tax assets. So let us begin same way. First we will calculate our risk weighted assets. Then we will calculate our capital adequacy ratio, and for that we will need our capital fund, which we will calculate separately. So first, for our risk weighted assets, one by one we list down the assets as given. So the first thing that is given is cash, and the cash amount is 7. This is all again in thousands. Then we have balance with RBI, which is 21,000. That is 21.00 is given. Then we have other investments, 140. Then we have loans guaranteed by government. And the amount for that will be 210. Then we also have other loans and advances of 2730. Then we have premises, furniture and fixtures. And the amount for that is 1050. And then we have intangible assets that has to be subtracted from your capital. You can't take it in the list of assets. Endorsement and letters of credit we'll take in the off balance sheet. So first, after these assets, we'll take a subtotal and then we write our off balance sheet items. And in that, we have endorsement and letters of credit. And the amount is 700. We also have deferred tax assets, but वो भी हमें subtract करना है from capital. We won't take it in our list of assets. So now we are going to write down the percentages. Cash के लिए there is 0% risk. Even for balance with RBI it is 0%. Other investments, because they are other investments, we will take full 100% risk. Guaranteed by government जो loans हैं, that is 0%. But other loans is again 100%. And our premises, furniture and fixtures, that will be again 100% risk. So let us calculate. This will be 0. This will also be 0. This will be 140. So this is going to be 0. And this is 100%. So we write the same number again, 2730 and 1050. We are going to take a subtotal first of these items. So 140 plus 2730 plus 1050 will give us 3920. And then we take the off balance sheet item, again 100%, so same amount, 700. And then when we add it to 3920, we get 4620. And these are our total risk-weighted assets. So this will go to our denominator in our formula. So let's write that down, 4620 into 100. But we don't know the numerator. So now we are going to calculate our capital for the numerator. So first we need to calculate our tier 1 capital. So let us see what we have for tier 1 in our sum. First we have the paid up equity share capital. So paid up equity capital, and the amount given is 350. After that there is cumulative perpetual preference capital जो कि जाएगा tier 2 में. So that I am not going to write over here. Then we have statutory reserve. Statutory reserve का amount है 70, that we will take over here. Then we have securities premium reserve, which is a free reserve, so that will also come over here. And the amount for that is also 70. Then we have our capital reserve, but capital reserve on sale. So वो हमें यहाँ पर लेना है, not on revaluation. So on sale. And the amount for that is 14. Let's take a total of these 4 first, or इसमें से we have to subtract certain things. So 350 plus 70 plus 70 plus 14, we will get 504 as our subtotal, और इसमें से we will subtract our intangible assets first. So minus intangible assets, and the amount for intangible assets is 106.30. I'll put it in brackets. और हमें डिफर्ड टैक्स एसेट्स भी सब्ट्रैक्ट करना है फ्रॉम दिस. And the amount for that is 40. So let us subtract these two things from 504. So minus 106.3 minus 40, we get 357.70 as our tier 1 capital. Now let us find the tier 2 capital. So for tier 2 capital, first we have our cumulative preference capital, that is perpetual cumulative preference share capital. This will be added in the tier 2, which is 70. Then we also have our capital reserve on revaluation. Jo last time ki tarah, we have to discount at 55%. So let's write it down first. Capital reserve, revaluation. I'm going to write the amount in the absolute inner column. So I'll write it as 14. And let us subtract 55% discount over here. So 55% of 14 is 7.7. After subtracting, we get 6.30. And then we also have investment fluctuation reserve. But for this, there is a restriction. Restriction kya hai? It cannot be more than 1.25% of our risk-weighted assets. When we say risk-weighted assets, we take this amount, not our off-balance sheet items include nahi karna hai, only the pure risk-weighted assets. So, first let us do a small calculation for that. So, जो हमारा investment fluctuation reserve है, let us see how much we are allowed to take that to our tier 2 capital. So, risk-weighted assets into 1.25%. So, that is 3920 into 1.25%. Let's calculate that. So 3920 into 1.25%, we get 49. And if we see the sum, our actual investment fluctuation reserve is 70. So हमें वो allowed नहीं होगा. We will have to restrict it to this. So let's write down actual is 70. So allowed is the lower amount, which is equal to 49. So that is what we will take in our tier 2. So now let's take a total of these three. 70 plus 6.3 plus 49. We get 125.30. And now let us add these two to get our total capital. 357.7 plus 125.3. We get 483. This is our total capital, which will go over here in the numerator. Let's calculate our ratio now. 483 divided by 4620 into 100. We get 10.45%. And that is our final answer. So in this case, the bank is maintaining more than what is required in the CAR. 9% से ज़्यादा है. 9% is our cutoff limit. So यहाँ पर the bank has more CAR, which is good. So take this down. Then I'll give you a homework sum based on this. So let's read a homework question which is similar to something that we've solved. So Yazoo Bank Limited has the following capital funds and assets. Segregate the capital funds into tier 1 and tier 2 capital. So this is just fancy word. They are asking us to show what will go in tier 1 and what will go in tier 2 capital. Find out the risk adjusted assets, that is nothing but our risk weighted assets, and the risk weighted asset and capital adequacy ratio, that is the same ratio that we calculate. So they've given us equity share capital, statutory reserve. So ये दोनों will go in tier 1 capital. Capital reserve is given as a total amount और brackets में दिया है of which 3.64 lakhs were due to revaluation of assets and the balance due to sale. So revaluation will go to tier 2 जहाँ पर हम 55% minus करेंगे and the sale on assets वाला जो capital reserve है that goes to tier 1. Assets के list में we have cash balance with RBI, balances with other banks, claims on banks. So balances with other banks and claims on banks ये दोनों में you will take 20% as your risk. Other investments है. Then we have loans and advances which is guaranteed by government, guaranteed by public sector undertakings of Government of India. So ये दोनों पर it will be 0% risk because both of these are covered by the government. And then we have other loans which will be 100% risk. Premises, furniture and fixtures, ये हो जाएगा 100% risk and other assets also 100%. And then we have some off-balance sheet items like acceptances, endorsements and letters of credit, again 100%. So you have to make all these three formats, that is your risk-weighted assets format, find out your capital adequacy ratio by finding out the total capital. So I hope you are able to do this sum by yourself. And with this, I wind up this topic now. This topic has come to an end. We have covered everything which is related to final accounts of banking companies. We saw how we have non-performing assets, how we calculate the rebate or the unexpired risk on our bills discounted. We did some sums based on these two small topics. Then we did sums on profit and loss account where we prepared all the schedules. We did a sum on balance sheet also where we again did it with the schedules. Then we did two sums where we did the complete final accounts, P&L and balance sheet. And finally, we've also covered how to calculate our capital adequacy ratio. So I hope you have understood all of this. That's it for this session. Thank you.